I'll never forget the eerie forest where this all went down. The trees towered above me, casting long, ominous shadows that stretched and twisted in the fading light of day. It was as if the woods themselves were alive, watching me with an unblinking gaze. I had been warned not to venture in alone, but I had to see it for myself. The rumors of ancient rituals and unexplained occurrences only added to the allure. The rustling of leaves beneath my feet was the only sound as I walked, my senses on high alert. Every snap of a twig or chirp of a bird made me jump, my heart racing with anticipation. I had heard whispers of a figure lurking in these woods, a presence that didn't belong. At first, I dismissed it as small-town folklore, but the more I walked, the more I felt like I was being watched. My name is Emily, and I'm an amateur hiker, always drawn to the unknown. This forest, in particular, had a reputation for being one of the most haunted in the country. I had to explore it. As I walked deeper into the woods, the silence became thicker, heavier, until it felt like a physical presence pressing down on me. The air was thick with an airy energy, making my skin crawl. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being herded towards some unknown fate. The trees seemed to close in around me, their branches tangling together like skeletal fingers. I quickened my pace, my senses on high alert, but the more I walked, the more disoriented I became. As I walked, I started to notice strange signs etched into the trees, symbols I didn't recognize, but somehow felt like they were meant for me. They seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, as if warning me away from some dark secret. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end as I realized I was not alone in these woods. The rustling of leaves grew louder, more insistent, and I knew I had to keep moving. My heart raced with every step, my senses screaming at me to turn back, but my curiosity kept me rooted to the spot. I had to know what lay at the heart of these woods, what secrets they held. The trees seemed to close in around me, their branches creaking ominously in the wind. I quickened my pace, my breath coming in short gasps, as I desperately sought a way out of this living nightmare. The symbols on the trees seemed to leap out at me, their malevolent energy washing over me like a cold wave. I caught glimpses of movement out of the corner of my eye, but whenever I turned, there was no one there. The wind died down, and an unsettling silence fell over the woods. I knew I had to get out of there, but my legs felt heavy, rooted. Suddenly, a twig snapped behind me, and I spun around, my heart racing. That's when I saw him, the psychopath lurking just beyond the tree line, his eyes fixed on me with an unblinking gaze. My blood ran cold as I realized I was trapped with no way out. He took a step closer, his movements slow, deliberate, and I knew I had to act fast. I turned to flee, but my legs felt like lead, my heart pounding in my chest. That's when I remembered the skills I had learned in self-defense class. All those hours of training kicked in, and I prepared to fight for my life. The psychopath lunged at me, his eyes wild, his movements unpredictable. I dodged and weaved, using every trick I knew to evade his grasp. My heart raced with fear, but I knew I had to stay focused, stay alive. The fight seemed to last an eternity, but in reality, it was mere seconds. I managed to land a lucky blow, and he stumbled back, giving me just enough time to make a break for it. I ran, my legs pumping, my heart racing, as I desperately sought to put as much distance between us as possible. The woods seemed to blur around me, a green and brown haze, as I sprinted for my life. I didn't stop until I was back in civilization, gasping for air, my heart still racing with fear. It took me hours to calm down, to process what had just happened. I knew I'd never set foot in those woods again, but I also knew that I'd been given a second chance, a chance to share my story, to warn others of the dangers that lurk in the shadows. Looking back, I realized that this experience changed me. It taught me to trust my instincts, to listen to that voice in my head that tells me something is off. It also taught me the importance of being prepared, of knowing how to defend myself in a crisis. Most of all, it taught me the value of life and the importance of living every day to the fullest. What would you do in a situation like this? Have you ever had a close call in the woods? or encountered someone who didn't seem quite right, let me know in the comments below. And if you'd like to hear more true stories like this, be sure to check out my other videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay safe. Bye for now.